Rah Hokum for the Boxing Voice. I'm delighted to be here for the first time with Huzaifah, better known as H. I can pronounce your name properly, but some people can't. Did you have a good Eid and Ramadan and all of that?
Alhamdulillah, thank you, Rashid, my brother. I had a beautiful Eid and Ramadan. I always struggle in Ramadan, man, because I'm naturally quite high energy anyway. So I think when I'm out without the calories and without the caffeine, I'm kind of crashed. Trying to hold pads and doing with no caffeine at the same time is a bit of a difficult job. But alhamdulillah, all good. I'm here now.
All going good at boxing booth down there in Reading?
Yeah, always good. Always good. Happy place, do you know what I mean? Happy place. Some amazing grade over there, do you know what I mean? And keeps us on our toes.
Am I right in thinking that these days you do most of the day-to-day training and Adam just sort of overlooks everything?
No, Adam's fully involved. Me and Charlie, he's given obviously me and Charlie have got set fighters that we're working with as well. But Adam's fully hands-on, do you know what I mean? And then obviously to have someone like that overlook us in what we're doing and with what our skill sets are and what we're trying to learn and teach, it's amazing, do you know what I mean? It's priceless, it's a gift from God you can't contain.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, Josh making a return, as Cam said, it's not a comeback, but how was he mentally after the Avanesian fight? I mean, he got a hell of a lot of stick, in the press.
Yeah.
I mean, we know you're such a positive personality in the gym. Did he need a lot of lifting after that?
I think firstly, right, I was saying a while ago, our gym's like a family, you know what I mean? I've been to a lot of gyms and sometimes there's a lot of formalities. Fighters are fighters, trainers are trainers, and there's a lot of formalities. When you find gyms like ours that are like very family orientated, very close, I think everyone takes the hit. When you feel like a loss has come, it's a loss on everyone, do you know what I mean? Well done to Avanesian because he's gone on to show his level and grade and what Josh was up against come fight night, do you know what I mean? It wasn't the Josh Kelly we know and it wasn't Josh Kelly that turned up fight night, you know what I mean? And I believe that it will come again in the future, you know what I mean? And inshallah we'll see the better result in the future. But no, I think Josh just needed that time off, you know what I mean? It's a lot of pressure and Josh is getting thrown in there, you know what I mean? When you got the skill sets that Josh has got and when the level that Josh is on, the whole world's paying attention to him, you know what I mean? I've got how many Pakistani, Asian, Arab followers, right? And I'm saying that they love Josh, you know what I mean? That everyone loves Josh. Josh is not just loved in the UK, right? Josh is loved worldwide, you know what I mean? So even the messages that I get on Josh's behalf, right, I can only imagine how much pressure he's under, you know what I mean? So yeah, 100% it was a loss and he felt it, but look, he's back now and inshallah Friday we dance, baby.
Absolutely. I mean, Adam's most famous charge, of course, David Hay, he had that early loss against Carl Thompson. Over the course of a fighter's career, often an early defeat just gets forgotten about. What you do over the course of your career. When you speak to your fighters, after a loss, do you make it clear to them that, look, over the course of your career, you probably will take some L's. Only Mayweather doesn't. So.
Exactly. I believe that's very well said. That's very well said. They would have done how much in their amateur careers? They would have done already. They should be fully graded before they come to the program to understand wins and losses. You know what I mean? You look at all the greats, right? And like well said, Mayweather aside, all the greats, all of them took L's, and they all learned from their L's. The only thing I think boxing is very well criticised for, right, is how much we hold on to these wins and losses and how, you know what I'm trying to say, compared to like MMA and other sports, where they don't really they don't slew someone for taking losses. It's kind of, you know what I mean? They look past that stuff, and I think boxing needs to take in that a little bit. It doesn't matter if you take a loss or not. We need to let go of this whole holding on to your W's and holding on to all of that. It needs to go, do you know what I mean? So better fights can be made and fights can continue being made.
Absolutely. In this time that Josh hasn't been fighting, has there been particular things you've been working on? Some people talk about, the weight-making struggle. Was there a conditioning thing? Was there a technical aspect that you had to concentrate to bring him back?
I think everyone will say that, especially Brother Adam will be the best person to say it, but Josh just needs to do how he does and feels in the gym. If you can talk to me, but I tell people, I've seen Josh, 20% of what Josh Kelly is in that gym, right? You'll see things. I spent years over with Floyd, I've seen plenty of sparring over there. I've never ever seen anything like Josh Kelly in a ring, right? And if that same Josh turns up come fight night, even 30% of that same Josh comes fight night, where he's dancing, he's playing, he's doing all his slick work, right, and popping shots and all the rest of it. If that guy turns up, the world is in for a good night. The world's in for a gift of boxing. You're not seeing something like it. Do you know what I mean? I remember Prince Nassim, long time ago, right, on one of Josh's fights about 3 years ago, and I remember how Naz was praising Josh. Do you know what I mean? If that Josh turns up, Rashid, you're in go for the boxing voice is in go for a good night. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Can you clarify some of this? Because for us as fans who are actually familiar with the intricacies of boxing, other than from a layperson point of view, I often hear fans talk about the Adam Booth style, and there's this perception that he favours those fighters who are highly athletic, very fast reflexes, so they can get away with that sort of low-handed style. Is that actually correct? I mean,
no. I look, alhamdulillah, man. I thank God with what that man has taught me and the stuff that I've learned at his hands. Yeah, is second to none. And if it was just one style, right? If it was just one style, knowing that he's dealing with world-class fighters. So when you look at world-class fighters, right, you're up against the world. You're up against the Mexican-style fighters. You're up against the hand-low fighters. You're up against the American style, the Floyds, the shoulder roll, all of that, right? One style is not just going to work against all these different styles. You know what I mean? So I think that was a thing that David Hay and George Groves, and then at that time they were very, very, and there's a time for that where I think that generally that look in every fight kind of shows that arm down when you're out of range and that arm down, the backhand up, that style always shows. But Adam, he's a mastermind. The stuff that he's you know, the world is always says knowledge is different, second to none.
Absolutely. And I mean, the other fighter on the books, who's fighting on Friday night, Harlem. I mean, how's his going? Because stylistically he's quite different.
Him and Charlie are forever working in the gym. He's the best student you can possibly find, right? Where I'm saying he loves working on new things. He's a gym rat. He lives in the gym. He's literally breaking every bone of his to make it stronger. He's that type of character. Do you know what I mean? He's very, very, very disciplined, and he's definitely got the Eubank power. As his last couple have shown, he keeps getting those stuff. He's got the Eubank power, and I think that him having that name carries a lot of pressure on his shoulders as well. So always excited to see Harlem, because God willing, inshallah, you can just see that soon it's just going to hit through the roof. You know what I mean? And he's going to take off.
Really tough division he's operating in.
Yeah, 100%. He's ready. He's a problem, and like I said, he's forever learning. If come underneath lights, camera, action, just controlled and calm. Are you with me? Let the rest flow. Let the rest be. All the stuff that he's working on, just him and Charlie been doing. Just let that flow.
Mm-hmm. And on Mick, of course, just fell short against Lee. I think, was he ahead on the scorecards at the time he got stopped?
Yeah, 100% he was. 100% he was. When we're talking Mick Collins, we're talking different class, different breed of guy, different class, different everything. I swear to God, even that, whatever happened, I don't even want to say it. It's just over my head. You know what I mean? He's a champion. He'll always be a champion. He's a champion in my eyes. You know what I mean? He's a champion in my eyes. He's world class. He'll be there, and if we need the belt just to finalise that, if that's the cherry on top, he'll get loads of cherries. They'll come.
Technically, yeah, he showed his pedigree. Ready to get straight back in at the top, do you think?
Yeah, inshallah, 100%. He don't need nothing. He's ready. He's already back in the gym. I saw him yesterday doing hill sprints like he'd never. You know what I mean? He's just back on camp.
The fight against Lee. Did he suffer a concussion in that night?
No, he was alright. He was fine. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he was out for a little bit. I think no more than on the whole ring scene. He's probably 3-4 minutes before he's back on the stretcher at the back, and he woke up and he takes his gas mask off whilst all the ambulance and everyone around him saying, "I'll keep it." He looked at me and goes, "How bad was it?" Yeah, and I just broke into tears. I was just happy to hear from him. He was like, "How bad is it?" And he started laughing. What's he laughing about? He goes, "Was it bad?" And you could see he was so gutted in his heart. You know what I mean? He was so gutted. But
you don't think there'll be no long-term psychological?
No, inshallah, no. Not someone like that. Not someone like me. It's a very good question, and you have all the right to ask that question, because you're right. Generally, I suppose there's a lot of trauma with fighters and anyone that goes through something like that. any injury, let alone if you're knocked out or anything, right? But Mick's a different grade. Up in his brain, Mick's different grade.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to his comeback because that featherweight division's still red hot.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Rashid, man. Can I give a big shout out to my sponsor, Pearcom International?
Yeah,
a massive shout out to my sponsor, Pearcom International, for all their support. And it's because of people like that that you can continue doing your stuff. Massive shout out to Pearcom International. Thank you.
Huzaifah, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Speak to you soon.
MashaAllah, beautiful.
Yo, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.